What's the weirdest social interaction you've ever been part of? For me, the cake definitely goes to that one time I was told by a woman in line at the drugstore, out of the blue, that she used to breastfeed me. Explanation: I was in college and one weekend went back to my small hometown and ran some errands for my parents. Was in a drugstore and this woman that was roughly my mother's age came to me and started talking. Hey, are you by any chance you, H1L3E, son of, mom's name? Me. Yeah. Do I know you? You might not remember me, but, gets closer to me and whispers to my ear. I used to breastfeed you when you were a baby, because your mother didn't lactate. Me. Anyway, tell your mother I said hi. See you around. Asked my mother about this when I got home, and apparently it's true they were good friends and both gave birthdays apart. When mom learned that she can't breastfeed me, this woman offered to breastfeed me along with her son. USA, I was about 40, when I was shopping at a local grocery store. In line to check out ahead of me was a young woman in her early 20s holding a baby girl. The baby reached out to me and said, "Da. It happens a lot because I look like the fatherly type, I guess." Anyway, the young woman turns and looks at me and says, "I don't think so," while turning up her nose. I chuckled and said, "Well, at least one of you has good taste in men." Slite. OMG, that guy was fucking with you so hard. Guarantee you had something on your person that gave it away. That or the dude's a fucking bad-ass psychic. I walked into the reception of a doctor's surgery, signed in, then sat down and waited. There was one other person there, a middle-aged woman who obviously had some kind of learning disability because she was reading a Peppa Pig book out loud to herself. A very skinny woman walks out of the surgery and sits in the waiting area, 2 seats from the woman reading. The reading woman, RW, turns to the skinny woman, SW. And this was the conversation. RW. Hi, what's your name? SW. Louise. RW. Oh, Louise, that's my mother's name. SW. Oh, that's nice. RW. Do you smoke crack? SW. Yeah. RW. Oh. And that's when I got called into the surgery and I never saw either of them again. I'm home on leave when I was in the Navy in the early 90s. Was out in a McD's with my mom. This woman keeps staring at me while eating. Kinda creeps me out. We finish eating and go out to the car. Mom's unlocking the door. I'm standing in front the passenger side waiting. Woman runs out and yells over to me, "I can't marry you." We look over and she says again that she can't marry me. Mom and I look at each other with a WTF look on our faces, turn back to her and mom goes, "Why not?" Woman replies, "Because I'm above and beyond the power of God." Then goes back inside, sits down, and continues to eat. I tell mom, "I'll be right back." She tells me no and to get in the car or she's leaving me there. Edit. Wow. I can honestly say I would have never suspect this to be best commit. Thank you. This happened back in 91 when I was home on leave from my ship in Yokosuka, Japan. My mother and I was out running errands that morning this happened. She replied first because, frankly, I was caught off guard. What freaked me out was that my HSGF and I had gotten engaged a few weeks before. Freaked me out at the time. In a way, she, above God lady, was right. I should have never married her. LMAO. I was at the dentist. She was doing her thing, and accidentally poked my gums for a bit. She went, "Whoops, sorry." I made a noise as to say no problem because, her hands being in my mouth, I couldn't say shit. Apparently, she thought I was laughing, to which she replies, "Oh, you think that's funny, don't you?" "Yeah, very funny." "That was funny, wasn't it?" "Yes, it was." In the high-pitched voice you would use when talking to a fucking baby, cat, etc. I switched dentists right after. ETA ho shit, this is AM. Let me know if I should delete ETA the sequel. Thanks for the silver kind stranger. There's a pub in my uni town that's really popular, but is full of really weird people. It's really small, so you're often sat with people you wouldn't normally talk to or interact with. Me and my, now ex-friend were there reasonably often. A couple of old guys, 70s or 80s, started talking to us and another of our friends. Once was normal, if a little kooky. The other one was not. He started off by talking about how he had 80k plus gamer score on Xbox and knew basically everything there is to know about Final Fantasy, in minute detail. Then he went on to how he was a time dimension traveler, because he did drugs with some strangers and woke up somewhere completely different and it was daylight. This went on for about 45 minutes, basically just him talking. He left after a while. Turns out the other guy didn't know him at all. They'd just been hanging out all night. It's hard to describe how surreal the whole thing was. In a job interview I was self-talking on the way there saying just say hi Helen. Hi Helen. Hi Helen me I am Helen Helen they said your name was Gaming and Glitter me it is Helen. Me. Edit. I did get the job. Luckily my working interview and experience was enough to negate my weirdness. Also Helen and I became good friends and enjoyed our weirdness together. My stepdad still calls me Helen when I say something stupid though. Was in Meijer grocery shopping. I was really tired and maybe a little delirious because it was only a few weeks after I had my kid. We'll call the other subjects of this story not John and not Mary. Anyway, this guy comes up to me and his girlfriend is with him and goes, "Hey, my name. How you doing?" Me. "I'm good John. Nice to see you. Is this Mary? Nice to meet you." Him. "I'm not John." "Not Mary. Who is Mary?" Glaring at not John. Me. "I'm sorry I'm really tired. Just had a baby." Nervous laughing. "I confused you with someone else." Not Mary. Glaring even harder and getting red in the face. "Why would she think you're with someone named Mary?" Me. "Well it was nice to see you. Have a nice day." Panicking a little trying to figure out who the fuck these people are. I walked away and felt really awkward, and realized who I had mixed them up with and to be fair, the girlfriend also looked similar to John's girlfriend who I'd only seen pictures of. A few weeks later I found out not John and not Mary broke up because it turns out not John was actually cheating on her with a different person named Mary. I panic blocked both of them on all social media. For me, it was probably when I went to see my college's advisor to talk about potentially taking an exam to prove I know a subject. Not sure what they're called. So I didn't have to retake a class. A bit of backstory, I took an online math class, got A's on all the homework and tests but failed the class because I didn't take the mandatory, 5-question pre-module quizzes that basically ask, what percentage of your grade is exams? How many exams are there? Etc. So I knew the material really well, but failed anyway. So I go talk to my advisor, explain the situation to her, and she tells me that those exams can be difficult and she's not sure if it's the right move for me. She then pulls up my previous math grades and GPA, is a bit surprised, then says, "Wow, well you're smarter than you look." I thought that was super weird but just kind of laugh it off and thought that was the end of that. But I was wrong. She then calls the examination center to see if they'll administer the exam for me and what available times they would be available. While on the phone, she says, "I'm here in my office with a young man named De Chalupa Batman and he would like to take a knowledge exam. I've told him they can be difficult but he's much smarter than he looks." I forgot how the rest of the encounter went but I took the test and passed, but I'll always remember the encounter where I found out I apparently look like an idiot. I was at a university open day and I said tasty as an alternative for cool when one of the female students gave me directions. I felt like such a tit. Where's the toilet? Tasty. Not sure if it's the weirdest but weirdest I can think of, and I was the cause of it. I had met this woman online and she was really nice. We talked for about 6 months but I never really thought of her more than just friends. One day, I was like man, I really like this girl so a few weeks later I decided to tell her. English is her 4th language and she speaks it well. I didn't know how well at the time. But I told her I need to tell you, I like you more than just a friend. She said wow, I feel the same about you and I went on for 30 minutes about how I liked her more than a friend like I like you. Like you yes, corn, I understand, I really like you too. No, I am interested in you as more than a friend yes, again, I understand. I feel the same way. No, I mean, like a relationship. I'm a fucking idiot. If you didn't start gesturing sex with your fingers, you're in the clear. Yes. In fact, we got married. I'm still not sure if she understands I like her more than a friend though. I'm going to a job interview at 2 p.m. I walk in around 1:45 p.m. and go to the receptionist to tell him I've arrived for the interview. He says okay, But we have a scheduled fire alarm test at 2 p.m., so would you mind coming back at around 2:15 p.m.? I say no problem and go for a walk around the area outside. I come back in around 2:10 p.m. and a woman is standing next to the reception desk. She asks if I am there for the 2 p.m. interview and asks if I know that I'm late. I look at the receptionist and explain that he told me there was a fire alarm and to come back. The receptionist looks at me, then at the woman who I am about to interview with, and says I've never seen him before. My jaw literally drops. I go into the interview and flop sweat instantly. I am dripping sweat onto the table as I'm interviewing. The woman actually left to get me tissues to wipe my face mid-interview. It went about as horribly as an interview could possibly go. Needless to say, I did not get the job. He must have had a friend or family member he wanted that job to go to, so she sabotaged you on purpose. I was at Comic-Con and it was hot. I was talking to this guy in a great Deathstroke cosplay and it was bloody hot, so I asked him, hot costume? He looked at me weirdly for a second and said, yeah, you too buddy, and walked off. I then realized he interpreted it as me telling him hot costume. It's winter and an older woman was struggling with her groceries while me and my friend in a grocery store that's kinda out in the sticks. I helped her cause I'm just nice like that. We get to her car and my friend is getting pissed because the lady is going on and on about her mother who was 102 and just died and how she's never been grocery shopping without her. I had just lost someone myself, so I was commiserating, but slowly backing away. It's snowing and kinda windy, so we're trying to get out before it gets worse, but she's talking a lot and like holding my arm, which is weird, but she's really old, so I just let it happen. But then she stops talking, reaches out, grabs my face and like whispers, such beautiful even skin. You're just like my China dolls, and then adds, and such a nice color. I'm black. My friend fucking blinks, laughs and goes, all right, that's enough of this shit. Have a good night, ma'am, and like steers me out of there, shaking her head. She likes to refer to it as the day I almost got us made into lamps. The year is 2012. It's summertime. I'm 18 years old and only a week away from moving to Italy. And some friends invite me over to hang out at Frisch's for pie and coffee at around 8 p.m. on a Friday. We're sitting at the bar of the restaurant minding our own. Out by us walks a group of 4 to 5 exceptionally dressed middle-aged black guys wearing beautifully tailored suits. One of whom looked just like Tony Todd. He snaps his fingers at us and makes the air gun motion. You boys staying out of trouble? Yeah man. Everyone says, a little confused. Tony Todd lookalike is paying for his meal at the register. Did you know that guy? No, I thought you did. Well, I thought you knew him. Chatter amongst the group. Conversation resumes per normal. Tony Todd lookalike returns to us and places his hand on my shoulder. Hey. Is that real pie you're eating? He asks in a nasally whisper as though he were trying to be discreet. Well, I certainly hope it is. I say. Baffled. Tony Todd lookalike then snaps his fingers and does the air gun motion and does something between a saunter and a dance as he walks away laughing with a stereotypical villain moahahahaha. Shit was weird, man. Ooh, I've got one in Thailand, at a Thai kickboxing gym. Having communal lunch, which is standard. A woman in her 20s was staying for a few days on her way to a fight in Russia. She is Australian and we strike up a conversation. Her. Oh, so you're Aussie? Me. Yeah. Her. Where are you from? Me. Sydney. Her. Are you heading back there soon? Me. Yeah, maybe, I do have some things I need to do down there. Her. Yeah, because you look like a bit of a Nazi. Me. Actually, I'm Jewish. Her. Oh, you look just like everyone else. I just want to know. Where did she think the conversation would go after that? Edit. For those saying, she probably said in Aussie, it is possible that I and everyone in the room misheard. But I excluded some context that made it less funny. I definitely don't look Aussie. She was likely responding to the fact that I was a cis female with a shaved head. Albeit weirdly. Like I said elsewhere, I spoke to someone who knew her better, and apparently this kind of thing was not out of character for her.